ever noticed that you can go through life, and as you go through your day, you can feel really good and have great energy and have all of these things that you want to do through the day or have to do through the day like most of us. And somewhere during the day, you notice you're headachy and just kind of don't feel well. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you know that this happens a lot, and sometimes each and every day, back to back, kind of roll into each other, and they kind of feel heavy. I've noticed that many people have this chronic-y malaise, this chronic-y not feeling well. What if that was a reaction to something? What if the way we feel is a reaction to an interaction that we have? There's so much information out there about the science of body-mind, the science of body-spirit, all of these things that it's wonderful to know. But what we haven't talked about, the very key to how we absorb interaction, how we absorb and consume other people's stuff, this wonderful science, the science of sponge body, the body sponge, us. We walk through life literally with our bioenergy fields wide open, our hearts, everything open, absorbing everything around us because we are connected to all things. We know that now. And in the very reacting to interactions but not paying attention to it, not taking a moment to attend to what happened, to how we've consumed the grime, the bacteria, the dirt, and how, when we do that, the sponges, how sponges get heavy and dirty and build up. And it's almost impossible to clean, but if we clean that sponge every single time we use it, how it stays light and fluffy, that's us. That's who we are. And the very thing of taking attendance of self, paying attention to self, is the very key to mindfulness, really, but the most basic of all things. If we realize that we are the sponge, I am body sponge, if you will, and I will do whatever I can to make sure that I am clean and pure so that I have energy, then everything can change in life. So the very action, the very paying attention to something changes us completely. Because most of us go through life asleep. We don't want to. We hear about mindfulness. We know that we can intend and affirm things and have the law of attraction and manifest abundance in all of its forms. We set goals and we raise families. Yet there's a heaviness to us. What if this heaviness is this constant reaction to interactions that we have and this accumulation of this consumed overconsumption of other people's negativity? So the very act of taking attendance, the very act of paying attention creates a neurochemical paradigm shift. When we take action and we take charge, we become empowered. In that empowerment, something happens. And we have energy, and we have positivity, and we have possibility. And from that possibility, we move forward in the world. Perfect example of how we are the body sponge, and how by releasing it, life and hope can come back to the soul, if you will, is Julie. My client Julie came to the office a couple weeks ago. Usually very vital and up and vibrant and happy. She kind of moseys in, sits down, and as we're talking, she can't name what's different for her. She just feels bad. Just a neck ache, a headache, a stomach ache. Just doesn't want to get out of bed. And it's not her typical MO, if you will. As we probed, as we talked further, and I asked her, when did this happen? As she started to pinpoint it, she said, oh my gosh, Dr. G. It happened when I took this phone call of somebody I love. That's when I noticed it, most and foremost. My dear, sweet friend was beaten. And as Julie talked, she became smaller, and her voice was slower, and she held her neck and kind of held her head and held her stomach. And I pointed that out to her. I said, look what you're doing. Look what's happening in these areas. And she stopped and she said, do you know what? These are the very places where this child was injured. So what had happened as Julie came to talk through the session was that she had taken it all in. She was walking through with this heaviness inside of her, this negativity, weighing on her. No way is that going to help her help this person. So as we talked, we literally did what I call a sponge bath, where we had her bring in light through her crown, close her eyes, and just let go. Just wash the sponge that is her bioenergy field, her body, her inner soul, her spirit, the part of her that was wounded. And as she did that, what we saw was this life coming back to her. But most importantly, what I saw, what Julie felt in that moment, was, whoa, if I just pay attention to my reactions to interactions, if I notice, what I can do is I can block that from entering me. I don't have to carry it. In the not carrying, she can be clearer, brighter, and most importantly, empowered to have charge and take charge into her life and of her life. So the very thing that we all need to do, first and foremost, is know that we have, and we are, sponge body, to pay attention, to be awake of interactions with others in large situations like Julie, maybe in extreme cases. Each morning, wake up and say, is my sponge, is my body, my energy field clean today? What can I do to protect it? And do the same at night before we go to bed. Clean off everything from your sponge body. Wash your sponge before you lay your head down to rest. And know that you've taken charge of your life.